It's like being a little kid, I guess. You just kind of imagine what it would be like. Riding Rosie O'Donnell today. Kind of windy. Matter of fact, it's real windy. Last time, let's see. You can't see me. Rosie O'Donnell's big old head's in the way. And I'm gonna move that. I don't think you guys can hear me because of the wind. That protect it a little bit. What do you want to be on camera right away? Let's see. I came up here, I hunted with Josh and Brandon. We hunted and everywhere, and then Robert wanted to go out. He had a day off from work, so we came up here, and man, I cut that lion track right there. And we trailed it. You'll see a link to that video right here. And then, I mean, we trailed it and got up in those rims and in the greasewood, and it slowed down. Anyway, whatever happened. You'll see it in the video. So that was last Friday, and today is Tuesday. Is that right? I don't even know what the date is. It's March. Windy, supposed to rain today. So I'm gonna see if I can get up there, check. I got a couple game cameras. Check those cameras, get these dogs out, ride this canyon where there was a coyote kill up there where the lion had killed a coyote here. I don't know, when I was hunting with the BLM biologist. Yeah. No, before that too. I don't know, I'm confused. Anyway, I'm gonna see if I can get up there and check those cameras, see if there's a track, see if that lion went back up into that country, and see if I can get all that done before the rains come, because it's supposed to rain hard today. But I'm packing my rain slicker. Still don't want to ride in the rain if I can avoid it. And the wind's supposed to blow hard, but it don't bother Rosie O'Donnell. I like this mule's back. She's got a big old set of withers on her. I don't like how tall she is, but you can't have everything. Nice. Rosie, you're beautiful. And I imagine that Rosie O'Donnell is about the same as you. A little lazy. She looks like she's a little lazy. And you're a lot prettier than Rosie O'Donnell. I'm using that as a trash bag. I've seen these on the internet. Little collapsible dog dish. So if I gotta water the dogs, instead of just using my water bottle and pouring it in their mouth, I can try this. And it's collapsible, so it doesn't take up much room. They were cheap. Like, I got 4 of them for like $9. Back here, I just carry mostly just some survival stuff. Rosie O'Donnell here has just worked herself in a big old sweat. She's nervous. I don't think she's ever been out by herself like this. I think she's always been with other mules or horses or something. She honks every now and then. I got a camera right up here. I got another camera right down in there. That's a Tanaha? Big old pool of water. But I gotta go around to get to my camera. There. No lion. Pictures of a ringtail cat I'll put right here. But no lion, no bobcats. Javelina, a couple javelina. Stink pigs. It's 12:30. Pretty nice place to eat lunch, huh? Thank you, Lord. Amen. You know, I don't know if you've watched any of my other videos. I can't remember which video it was, but I mentioned the fact that I want to go on a long ride. And a long ride is, according to the Long Riders Guild, there's a guild. A long ride is anything over 1,000 miles in one trip, consecutive. And it just fascinates me. And there's, you know, not a lot of people who've done it. And that Bernice Indy, I drove all the way to Tier C to see her. She wrote a book, and she's a real interesting lady. She's done over 30,000 miles. And we've done some pack trips, you know, 6-7 day pack trips, and I've done some, you know, several day solo trips by myself. But to go by yourself and to be, you know, and to go over 1,000 miles, which would take you, you know, 3 months, really. It's kind of, I like when I'm riding out like this, and it's like being a little kid, I guess. You just kind of imagine what it would be like, or, you know, what it was like for the old timers. But what would it be like if you just kept riding in one direction, you just kept going? And what are the, I mean, try to imagine the things that you'd think about. I mean, there'd be a lot of things you'd have to take into consideration, you know, like where's your next water? When am I going to get water for these animals, or for your mule, whatever? You know, you can't take a bunch of hound dogs on a trip like that. But grass, you know, if you came across a real good area that had some grass and maybe some water, maybe you just end up camping there for a couple days. Keep your mule or your horse or whatever you're riding, keep it, you know, fit. And camping, you know, or like now with the weather getting bad like this, you know, you see those clouds rolling in, you probably think, man, find a pretty sheltered spot and set up camp and stay, you know. And how many miles you ride in a day? You know, typically I'll ride, when I'm hunting, I ride anywhere from a short day is, you know, 8 or 10 miles, and a long day is 20 miles. But typically it's between, you know, 12 and 18 miles, right in there somewhere. But consecutively, do you do that, you know, 5 days in a row, and then, you know, where will you end up? How are you going to resupply? It's just fascinating. I'm going to do it one of these days. But this is just the way I think, and it's probably not right. And I keep thinking, man, you got to do this grandiose thing. You got to just, you know, say, oh, I'm going to do it and take off on 1,000 miles. But really should take some smaller trips, and that's what I'm going to do this year. You know, probably take like a 2-week solo trip. And maybe it'll be here in the next couple weeks. You know, I'll go shed hunting. I think the deer are starting to drop in the antler. I think the deer and the elk are starting to drop their antlers. So maybe I'll go in the wilderness and make like a 2-week trip on my own, a solo trip. Maybe I just ride out of the yard and just ride out and kind of plot out my trip and go for 2 weeks. You know, you think about back in the old days what those guys did. You know, they just took off cross country and they went, and I'm sure they had talked to people, and they had routes that other people that had traveled, for the most part. There's some people some guys that just took off back in the early days, but later on they probably had talked to scouts or different people and say, yeah, you go this way and you'll find water, or you'll see this river, or, you know, this is the easiest route to take. Or they had like some kind of real scant or rudiment map that they followed, you know, that they tried to navigate through. I don't know. You can imagine how tough those old birds were. But yeah, one of these days I'm going to do that. But right now I'm going to eat lunch. And the weather's getting bad, so I'm going to head back to the truck and back to my chair and my house tonight soon. And I'll document it. I will video it, and hopefully you guys want to see it somehow. Okay, I'm going to eat now. You don't want to watch me eat. If I was on a long ride right now and I had my pack animal with me, and you seen the weather coming up like this, you'd have to find yourself a place to camp. Just try to find a protected place, preferably with water. I mean, because like now, I haven't got this mule a drink of water. But see, I also know that in an hour's ride down here, there's a windmill with a tank. So, and a fenced in area, so that's probably where I would stay. But what if I didn't know about that? You got to do your, even though you want to keep it as traditional and real as possible, and you don't want to get yourself in a bind. There's a lot of people who just, I mean, you don't want to mistreat your animals. But you know, where there's cattle, there's going to be water. Most of the time when you see those cow tracks, those cow paths, and you see where they're traveling, they're going to water. One way or another, there's water. Preferably you'd want to try to ride from about 6 or 7 until about 2. And then set up camp. Every time you got into a little area where there was some grass, you know, you could probably take a break and let your stock graze. And then just keeping going, you know, just I can ride day in and day out by myself without much worry. There's the rain. So see, now if I was a long rider, I don't know if you can hear this without the good mic, but if I was a long rider, that would be a welcome sight right there. I don't know what I'd do about grass to feed the mules, because you'd have a pack mule with you. Set of pins and water. $11.14 miles, 4,312 feet elevation. Moving time was 3 hours and 47 minutes. Stop time was 53 minutes and 15 seconds.